Before we end this video, let's pause for a moment, because this conversation is not really about Tesla, technology, or even tiny houses. It's about security. For retirees and seniors, the biggest fear is not living small, it's living uncertain. When nearly 1 in 2 American households are already behind on utility bills, the stress doesn't come from luxury or lifestyle choices, it comes from unpredictability. Bills that arrive at the wrong time, rate increases you didn't plan for, a power outage during a heat wave or winter storm when your health depends on electricity. This is not poor planning. This is the reality of living on a fixed income in a world where costs keep rising. And that's why discussions around ideas like a Tesla tiny house matter. Not as hype, but as a possible tool to reduce risk. Here at InfoByte Network, our role is not to sell dreams. Our role is to ask one question. Would this actually make life more stable for people who need stability the most? Where real savings come from. No magic, just math. Let's be very clear. Lowering monthly costs is not magic, it comes from control. A tiny house doesn't save money because it's trendy, it saves money because it reduces baseline operating costs, electricity, water, heating, and cooling. Less space means fewer systems mean fewer surprises. That's not sacrifice, that's efficiency. Electricity, from anxiety to predictability. The average American home uses around 850 to 900 kilowatt hours per month, often costing $140 to $180 and much more during extreme weather. A tiny house typically uses 150 to 250 kilowatt hours per month. That alone cuts consumption to about 1/4 of a traditional home. Now add rooftop solar and battery storage, similar in capacity to a Tesla Powerwall, around 13.5 kilowatt hours. Here's what changes. Energy is produced during the day, excess is stored instead of sold back cheaply, peak utility rates are avoided, and critical systems stay powered during outages. On most days, electricity costs could fall to $0 to $30 per month, not because you're off-grid, but because the system is properly sized. That difference alone can free up hundreds of dollars per year, money that goes toward medication, food, or simply staying financially afloat. Water. Small space, small surprises. Traditional homes average 300 gallons of water per day. 1 or 2 people in a tiny house typically use 50 to 90 gallons. Why? Fewer fixtures, shorter plumbing runs, low-flow appliances, easier leak detection. Monthly water bills often drop from $70 to $100 to $30 to $50. Again, not magic, just fewer places for waste to hide. The bottom line on monthly utilities. Let's add it up. Traditional home. Electricity, water, internet, $270 to $330 per month, often 15% of a $2,000 fixed income. Tiny house setup. Electricity, water, internet, $110 to $140 per month, around 6% of the same income. That difference is not about comfort, it's about sleeping at night. Power outages versus inconvenience versus danger. In states like California, Texas, and Florida, power outages are no longer rare. When the grid goes down in a traditional home, refrigeration stops, medical equipment shuts down, communication fails. With solar plus battery backup, essentials keep running. Phones stay charged, medical devices remain powered, food doesn't spoil. This isn't about lifestyle independence, it's about health and survival. For seniors, losing power can be life-threatening, not just uncomfortable. Disasters. Small homes, faster recovery. No home is disaster-proof, but some homes recover faster. A well-designed tiny house can offer elevated foundations for flood zones, steel framing that resists fire and warping, fewer roof seams, fewer failure points, smaller repair scope after damage. After a disaster, rebuilding a 250 to 400 square foot structure is far more manageable than repairing a full suburban home. Recovery time matters, especially later in life. The real cost people forget: moving in. The base price is never the real price. Additional costs often include transportation from factory, installation and anchoring, permits and inspections, utility hookups, insurance, often specialized, and land purchase or lease. For retirees, these must be known upfront. Surprises break budgets. At InfoByte Network, we strongly recommend getting written estimates for transport, setup, insurance, and land costs before making any decision. Maintenance means fewer things to break. Most retirees don't fear one big failure, they fear constant small ones. A tiny house built with integrated panels and fewer joints means fewer leaks, less mold risk, fewer service calls, lower long-term frustration. Maintenance isn't eliminated, but it's reduced, and that reduction matters when energy and mobility are limited. Warranties, read the fine print. A warranty is only valuable if labor is covered, service is accessible, and claims are practical to execute. Solar, batteries, and structure should all have clear long-term coverage. If labor, shipping, or installation is excluded, that's not real protection. Privacy and smart tech. Control is everything. Smart homes raise valid concerns. The issue is not technology, it's control. A senior-friendly system must allow physical on-off switches, local data processing, no automation without permission. You should decide what runs. You should decide what listens. You should decide what connects. Technology should serve you, not monitor you. Isolation, the hidden health risk. Loneliness increases mortality as much as heavy smoking. Tiny house communities can help if chosen carefully. Good communities offer optional social interaction, wellness checks, emergency response, and independence with support. But community culture matters. Always visit, always talk to residents, always understand rules and fees. The house matters less than the environment around it. If a Tesla tiny house ever becomes a reality, its value won't be in innovation. It will be in predictable bills, fewer emergencies, faster recovery, less maintenance, and more control. It's not for everyone, but for the right person, it could mean less fear and more stability. Your turn. Comment below. Your state, your biggest concern, utilities, disasters, maintenance, or privacy. At InfoByte Network, we'll create follow-up breakdowns tailored to your situation. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss verified updates, not rumors, because whether Tesla builds this or not, the need is real. And helping people live with dignity, safety, and predictability is what this channel is about. This is InfoByte Network.